My name's Andrés, Pardo, and I'm a Northwestern student. I study comedy. Don't you know how to use a vibrator? In fairness, I probably shouldn't have dropped it on her elderly grandmother's head, bro. My name is... Dude, what are you doing, bro?
My name's Matthew, last name redacted, and I'm a MDILF. The verifiers love it when we talk about institutionalized racism.
No, they don't.
Are we done?
What the f? Welcome to the Green Room, episode 1.
How old is Taylor Swift?
Does it matter?
You're 35.
Probably.
The breakup songs are not.
When they do a prostate exam, how do they go in?
Chill out.
From the back.
It's a privilege to be able to get offended about something.
Which way do you wipe?
What does that even mean, dude?
I would agree that there's no real journalism if you define it as purely objective, fact-based news reporting.
So we end the podcast?
Like permanently?
Yeah, we should end the podcast. I don't like how the whole George Janko thing happened. I don't know if you follow that at all.
No.
But George Janko was on the Impulsive podcast, right? And so Logan basically like kicked him off, sort of. They haven't been completely public with it, but that's basically what happened. Yeah. And he was like saying some pretty nasty things about like George's religion, all this other stuff. So in terms of the persona that Logan Paul has, I think it's good, and I think it's a lot better than what he used to have, the persona. Yeah. But I feel like him as a person, I don't know. It's just unfortunate. I think he's cool. I think he did such a good job of digging himself out of the hole of Japan. But I wish he handled this George situation better. And I also just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you know anything about George Janko.
A little bit.
He's doing stupid numbers. And now Impulsive is using George for clickbait, which is just crazy. That's how big George has gotten, which is sick. So, like, I'm not necessarily on the Logan Paul hate train. I think he really turned his life and his career around. But I think he's still kind of big leagues people. But, I mean, whatever. He's doing well in the WWE. He seems like he finally has like an actual fan base again.
Yeah.
Even if it's people hating on him. So.
But he did have the crypto stuff.
CoffeeZilla, all that shit.
CoffeeZilla exposed Logan. Yeah. Logan said he was going to pay people back. He started supposedly paying people back for...
Yeah, and he only paid like 15% of it.
Not even 50%.
15.
Yeah, like around 15.
That's so
Crypto Zoo, the Dink Doink, whatever it was called, the paperclip poo shit. Yeah. Damn. So, again, it's the thing where he does good.
Yeah.
I mean, Prime is, I don't know what they're valued at now, but they've got to be close to $1 billion. They just keep signing people out their ass. But it's just, he does something and then he takes 2 steps back.
Right.
But again, he's just so, I don't know, he's so successful that it's hard to hate on him. But then he does just brain dead shit like Crypto Zoo. It just pisses me.
Actually, even George, who they're not even on talking terms, he was like, that wasn't actually his fault.
Crypto Zoo?
Yeah, they said it wasn't his, yes, his name's behind it.
Yeah.
But he specifically was not trying to rip it. And I kind of believe him. I also like, dude, I don't want to be like, you and I both agree on this. And like, cancel culture is bullshit.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't want to be here fucking trying to cancel him in any way. But yeah, I mean, his name's behind it. I feel like he's responsible to a certain extent. But yeah,
I do think he's proved almost that he's uncancelable. I mean, to do something like Japan and to come back after that, I mean, cancel culture wasn't as big then as it is now.
Right. His rebound's been insane.
It's probably the biggest rebound. 100%.
Who's somebody that like?
So I've had this conversation with people multiple times.
About people who just genuinely cannot be canceled?
No, about people who have actually gotten canceled. Trying to say, what actually is cancel culture? Other than Kanye, can you think of someone else that has actually been canceled since COVID, 3-4 years?
What do you mean by that?
Just canceled to the point where they've lost their fame, their reputation, their ability to keep up, I guess, their brand. I mean, Kanye hit the shit. For good reason.
I mean...
But I can't think. People throw the...
So wait, so you don't believe in canceling?
I don't...
But Logan was legit canceled.
Logan was canceled, but he rebounded. I don't think there's such a thing as being permanently canceled.
Okay.
I don't think... Other than Kanye, I don't think it exists.
Well, that's because we live in a world, I think, now that is rebounding hard, hopefully, to where people are like, this is bullshit. Because like I always say this to people, like this is why I think cancel culture is so stupid. Like the people who are typing out frustrations on Twitter are typing from a phone that was made by slaves in a cobalt mine. Yeah. It's just like it's everyone. You should be canceled. Also, like, who are you to like? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not to get religion or anything, but one of my favorite quotes from the Bible is like, "You without sin cast the first stone." It's like, dude, we're all fucked up. So I think it's the people who are the most insecure are the ones that are throwing that. So I agree. Do you know who Chris D'Elia is?
Yeah.
All right. He's my favorite comedian. Shout out Chris D'Elia. He's been legitimately canceled. Like Netflix and all these guys I don't think necessarily want to work with him anymore. But because we live in a world that's kind of rebounding, he was able to release his special on his website. And it did really well. Yeah. So I kind of agree that there's always a niche, there's always an audience, and there's always people who are going to stick with you. And even Kanye has diehard fans. I mean, I was talking to somebody that he has a listening party in Chicago, or just did, in the United Center, I think. So he's not even canceled.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying.
So that's your point. You're saying nobody can be genuinely canceled?
I just don't think there's a thing as perma-canceled. Okay. I mean, people throw that term around, but I genuinely
No one throws out perma-canceled.
Not perma-canceled. Okay. Cancel culture.
Yeah.
People say, oh, someone's been canceled, and they talk about it like it's a permanent thing. It's just not. And I agree with your point about the privilege. I mean, it's interesting that cancel culture has emerged out of the U.S., which is in and of itself, for the majority, for the large part, a very privileged country.
Yeah, 100%.
On the world scene.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to keep it so real with you.
Okay.
What's the order of events when you need to take a shit?
Oh shit. Well, are you talking like open the door to go to the
No,
bathroom?
I'm talking you sit down. What's going on? You sit down. You sat down.
Well,
what's happening?
Almost always pee.
Pee first.
For sure.
Okay.
Unless it's one of those like I have just gone for a run and it's literally dripping out of my pants as I walk back to the house from the gym.
I've never heard of that.
Which is runner's trot is a big ass thing.
Okay.
I tell you what, you don't want to take laxatives. You're a bit like anti-vax.
Go for a run.
Laxatives. Go for a fucking run. You just shit your brains out.
Anti-lax.
If you're anti-lax, go for a run.
Okay.
Pee, poo.
Okay.
And then I wipe. Here's the big question.
Okay.
Which way do you wipe?
I'm not going to answer that yet.
Okay.
I was in the bathroom the other day. I'll just come out and say it. Let me make sure my mic's on. They need to be getting this. Okay. I get anxiety pooping.
Okay.
I do, and I'll be honest about it.
Okay.
No one can be in the bathroom.
That's fair.
I'm very like to the point where like I can almost have it out, and I'll just bring it right back up if someone walks in. Okay. I've got problems.
It's like a worm poking its head out.
Yeah, it's disgusting. So I'm doing that, and I really have to. Shit, this is last week. Okay. Someone walks in. So here we go. Right back up.
It already retracts.
And at this point, the funniest thing about me is at this point, like, what else can I do but just like observe the other person? Because
wait for them to leave.
Right. So I'm just gonna observe what they're doing. Okay.
Wait, you leave the door open?
No. I'm audio wise.
You visualize.
That's all I can do, right? Because I'm just waiting for them to leave. So I'm invested into what their process is. This person comes in, and like, dude, I don't need to be like, I don't know, like I'm not trying to be vulgar on the podcast. It's disgusting. Maybe it's people eating, right? But he painted the toilet bowl brown. It was bad, right? Destroyed the toilet. Okay, and so I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh, dude, okay, all right.
How do you know this? Do you want to inform our audience how you know that?
Okay. They know how I know.
Okay.
Broke sound fucking barriers.
Yeah.
And also
Mach 12
smelled
with his
like
ass.
death, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there. Once again, I'm observing. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Okay. He wipes. He gets good wipes in.
Good.
His stroke game when it comes to
Love that.
wiping himself, he did well. I mean,
It can be a problem.
he was at it. Okay. Now you're going to see why I brought this up in the first place, because I asked about process.
Yes, you did.
He destroyed the bowl.
I see where this is going.
Flushed. Got up. unlocked the stall door, locked it back up, turned around, pissed for 45 seconds. Dog. He had a 45-second piss lined up, bro. How do you hold a 45-second piss, bro? How do you paint the toilet bowl brown? At that point, bro, it should come out at the same time. He took his shit, wiped, did everything, unlatched it, turned around and said, hold on a second, let me water this entire garden I have here, dude, and pissed for 45 seconds. And I'm sitting there still waiting to shit myself, just dying laughing, bro.
Bro, I'm trying to think of like a comparison. That has got to be the most heinous thing I've ever heard.
Dude, I could not believe.
He must have been actually...
Was not a tinkle. He full
on whiz. He must have been actually trying to hold it in while he was pooping.
I have never experienced... First of all, I couldn't do that if you paid me. Impossible. Especially with the way he was...
Poop or pee? Or in that order?
The entire experience. There's no way I could have done that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure.
I believe not just in this, but in comedy as well, this is changing. Like, you see people who are super successful now are people who are not like, you know, like, I think anti-woke is also a stupid term. I think woke's a stupid term. But at the same time, the comedians that are just like, I'm going to just say it, are actually doing well right now. Like Shane Gillis, we were talking about it, Andrew Scholes, you know, Theo Vaughn. A lot of these guys that are coming up, they don't care. And I think that, like, comedy as a whole has always pushed the boundaries of society. They're always like the line checkers or line crossers. They have always been since the inception of comedy. Like, is this too far? Is this not? We'll set the boundary. And like when you put so much restrictions and you just have somebody say a bunch of things that everyone agrees with, it's not funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's cold outside. Fuck, dude, it's cold outside. And everyone's just like, yeah. There's nothing funny about that. So yeah, but I think this is a pendulum, and I think it's coming back, and I think
it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I was terrified, obviously, me wanting to go into comedy. Yeah. I was like, when I first got to Northwestern, I was like, this is raps for me, bro. Yeah, it's raps.
No, I mean, for me, like, the minute you say something on air, I mean, that guy, Tom Brenneman, he made a disgusting comment in the Cincinnati Reds, and then when he was mid-apologizing, he started calling a home run. I think you know what I'm talking. Maybe.
Oh my goodness!
Like,
one of the greatest clips of all time.
So like, it's awful. What he said before is awful, but what he did is hilarious. Yeah. I'll never forget. Big Booty Mixes. They incorporated that as a sound bite.
The Castellanos thing, is that him?
Yes.
That's what that's from.
That's him. Yes.
Dude,
and there's a deep drive to left field. Yes, that is Tom Brenneman. And again,
that's so funny, bro.
Something like that. Again, I would never say something like that. Right. But I was calling baseball earlier this spring. Okay. Where in between innings, I was calling by myself. I had just eaten something. I forgot to mute myself. You know, I'm a gassy guy. I burped really loud on a hot mic, and everyone heard it, and it was really bad.
On Big Ten Sports Network? On
Big Ten. And it was on the streaming network, so it's fine, but they couldn't re-air the game because I just burped in between innings. So it's stuff like that. Like, I don't think I'll go to the Tom Brenneman, but it's just stupid shit where I'll just forget what I'm doing.
Dude,
I've been caught singing before.
Sounds like you have just problems.
I mean, in general, I'm an unfiltered person, and I try really...
That's why we're doing this.
Exactly. I try really hard when I'm on air to be as clean as possible. Right. But it's just the burps and that shit. It's like...
Yeah. She doctor. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's why I think it's crazy, like, the live streaming stuff, how that's become so popular. You see, like, Aiden Ross has, like, I don't know how much worth stock in Rumble or whatever. Yeah. But then these guys are just, like, live 24/7. And even with podcasting, like, Joe Rogan says this all the time. He's like, you know, you take me out of context in a 4-hour conversation, you're bound to say something that's going to be stupid. And I agree with that. I don't agree with everything Joe Rogan says, but, like, I agree with, like, you're talking about 4 hours. You're trying to tell me you're with your boys and you're not going to say one thing. I mean, multiple things, but, like, you're not going to say one thing that crosses the line, you know? So, but that's why it's so impressive how live streaming is just, like, completely taken off. What about boxing? That's what boxing is.
I think the difference with boxing is more structural. I mean, boxing is so not unified to the point like UFC bought out all their competition. There's one set of belts that everyone wants to fight for. Boxing is so complicated because you have WBC, you have I can't even tell you what the 4 big titles are. WBA, I don't even know. And it's on all the time. Promoters make their own fights. I mean, that's how Dana White grew the UFC. Is he centralized Pride, he centralized Strikeforce. He just made it into this big conglomerate. I mean, you have Bellator, but it's different. I mean, the difference between WBC and IBO is not like Bellator and UFC. So I think boxing has fallen. I think boxing has gone down 100%. As MMA has just...
Jake Paul saved boxing, in my opinion. He's the person who made people care about boxing. No one cared about boxing.
I still don't think people care.
No, but definitely more than they... I mean, without Jake Paul, I think boxing would be over. I think he brought something new, which all the purists love to complain about. If he hadn't come into the scene, boxing, I agree, is like this and would continue and continue. But I think like what he's done for Amanda Serrano is incredible, dude. She's now the highest paid female boxer of all time. She was making like, I don't know, like she had never made anything beyond 100,000 ever. And then like the fight against Katie Taylor or something, they both got $1 million. Like, I don't know. That's kind of a separate conversation, but I know these are probably a lot of hot takes, but I think he saved boxing. And I also think he's in the Sean Strickland category where he's misunderstood. And I actually think he's done a lot of good for boxing and debatably for the world as he's matured as a person.
I mean, I think part of that is, and this goes back to, we were talking about Logan, but as Logan has grown in fame, Jake has kind of taken a step back, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jake is more likable than Logan.
And I think that's just because he's not being shoved down our throat 24/7.
He's working on his boxing.
Exactly.
He's got his podcast, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Like Logan has Impulsive. He's got Prime. I mean, you go to the grocery store now, you see Prime.
I had a Prime today, dude.
Exactly. You see WWE. I mean, he is everywhere. And it gets to the point where it's just too much. And I think that's what Jake Paul's benefited from, is as Logan has just grown into the spotlight even more than we thought he could when he was uploading daily, weekly on YouTube. Jake's just kind of retreated. And I think I do agree. I think he is a way more likable at this moment in time than Logan Paul.
Yeah. I think... Yeah, another thing in general is just like this podcasting world that has been brought to by, I mean, comedians and stuff. Joe Rogan kind of started podcasting, but like now that you see people like Jake Paul and they have these podcasts, you also get a different side of famous people that you never got before. You know, people like Brad Pitt was like always Brad Pitt. You never had the real Brad Pitt type of thing. And now with Jake and Logan and these guys who are big on their podcast, you get a different side. And this actually leads to something that I was trying to ask you, and I've been wanting to ask you, and I was talking to someone else who's Medill about this question. Personally, I believe that journalism, real journalism, doesn't exist anymore and hasn't for, I mean, you could argue since the 90s, I don't know. But as a journalism student, I'm curious what you think about.
It's really funny because I was calling wrestling last night for Northwestern against Purdue, and I was talking to someone after the meet, and he genuinely asked me the same question. He said, "Do you have hope for journalism?" And I mean, I'm wearing it. Obviously, I have a little bit, but I don't. I think the bigger problem is journalism, as we think of it, is a mess right now. Back 50 years ago, 40 years ago, the thing that you thought of when journalism came to mind was your daily news, nightly news, Walter Cronkite, things like that, your newspaper. People don't read the newspaper anymore. I mean, it's all online. You go to Washington Post, you get one tab for the newspaper and one tab for the fucking crossword. So it's stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, people ask me, what are you doing when I tell them I major in journalism? They're like, what does that mean? Are you going into politics? Because people assume. Right. I'm saying no. I mean, sports broadcasting, is that considered journalism? Is magazine considered journalism? You have photojournalism. Yeah. I mean, there is so much now. It's such an umbrella term for something that is so ambiguous that I would agree that there's no real journalism if you define it as purely objective, fact-based news reporting.
I guess there are some. I know I was talking to somebody, this person, they told me that there are some sources that are just like, if there's, let's just say somebody gets stabbed, they literally just go, this person, and they identify that person, stabbed this person, they identify that person, at this time, at this place. That's the story. Whereas, you know, a lot of people say CNN kind of ruined this, but with the 24-hour news cycle, but basically now it's all about clicks, and if it doesn't get you clicks, it's not worth sharing to the world, which I think is crazy. So now you get and then you get people so riled up about stuff that a lot of times maybe isn't true or is so aggressively seen or displayed in a specific light. You get this crazy fan base, but like it's all about money, and there's nothing about like this is the story. And I don't know. I think that it's a net negative for society, obviously, and it also fuels this divide that's already here in the country between, I guess if you want to say left or right, whatever. But it's just like nowadays, especially at this school, and this is somewhat controversial, but like I believe this. I think people are not only terrified to have a conversation about opposing opinions, but I've been in conversations with people on campus that shut down when you tell them like they just immediately start attacking you personally, or they actually cannot comprehend that you are coming at them with a different perspective. And that's not a personal thing, right? Universities from their inception were supposed to be a place to debate. That's like the point of universities at the beginning. And now it's like Northwestern walk around, try to get somebody to give you a crazy, like, no, they're all either scared or they all believe a specific thing in a specific way. And it's just like, it's so, I think it ties into the whole journalism thing, but it's like the way journalism is we want to keep things separated, and we're going to sell a bunch of shit to these people. We're going to sell a bunch of shit to these people. And the middle, which I think is the truth, doesn't need to exist because it doesn't bring money. Yeah. And until we find a way to bring money to that, which I mean is, I guess, a greater comment on society in general, I don't think we're ever going to get truth.
Yeah. I mean, I think, again, universities in general, they should be for debate, but they are just in general, very liberal institutions. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's just generally agreed upon that people get more conservative as they get older. Mm-hmm. But I agree. I think there's very one idea that permeates the student body, right, not only on our campus, but on other campuses, people I talk to. And yeah, I think people are genuinely afraid, but I think that's a top-down problem. I mean, you have someone, who are we supposed to look for role models anymore? Who are we supposed to look for inspiration?
Okay, this was something I was going to bring up, and I think it's a great question. There's a movement now. It's so annoying because, like, the left's always going to call this the right wing or whatever. I wouldn't agree. I'm going to include people like George Janko. Then you have, like, the health side, which is, like, Andrew Huberman. These typically men, I think like Jordan Peterson is his daughter as well, but they bring like this, I don't know what niche you would, but there's a big upswing now in the Andrew Huberman stuff, which is more like biohacking and stuff like that, but also like, you know, he talks about the importance of like, you know, ice baths, all this other stuff, and these people are actually getting really big now. What do you think about that kind of content? I don't know. I think it's. I'll let you answer, and then I'll give my piece.
You mean people that monopolize the kind of conservative take?
Well, there's that, but I would say these people are the people who at least they seem to be making content that is anti what society is like. But I would say these other guys. I wish I had a list, but like these other guys that like I guess self-help kind of people. I think there's an upswing now, and I don't know if you've seen, apparently our generation, I think I saw this. I don't know if it's about religion or if it's about right wing or something like that, but this self-help movement and the one that leads a little bit more right is actually gaining a lot of steam in our generation, which is interesting. And I think it's a positive. I would love to hear your take, but I think that area, although of course there's toxic people everywhere, is a lot better for society than the opposing side.
I mean, I think the problem is that people don't know anymore how to develop themselves. Yeah. I think that is the biggest problem. And then it's the fact that society at this point is just
pivoting towards the extremes in both ways in every single thing. It's not just politics. I mean, it is everything. And so you have these people who want the clicks, and they know the clicks are at the extremes. And then when people look for someone to model their work after, or whatever their mentality, they see someone like Andrew Tate, who, again, he might be, in his mind, he might have these okay ideas. Like, yes, physical exercise is great for the body. I mean, that is an undisputed scientific fact. The people that live longer in life are generally the people that are more active, eat better, you know, get outside, whatever. But he just twists it in these other things, and you just said it, but he just gravitates toward the extremes. Right. And they need someone like, I guess in this case, it would be George Janko to bring them back into the middle. We don't have those people in the middle anymore. Yeah. And I genuinely, I think it's just a canyon that is just growing at an exponential rate. There's no way we can bring them back together. And I think people are looking at these, you can call them self-help gurus or whatever, just to try and get a sense of place in where they are today, because they're just lost. I mean, I think that is also something that you see when people aren't able to have, we've had this conversation, but people aren't able to, you know, to make eye contact, to have conversations with people. You know, they can't really think for themselves anymore. They look to those older people.
Yeah, they need to have a crutch.
Exactly. And it's just, it's the extremes. And so I don't know what the fix is. I mean, I think we're in such a crazy place right now.
I know. Yeah, it's also like, it's the most, I don't know, I feel like everyone keeps repeating this, like that what you just said. But I also agree that I don't know what I don't know. I've seen a lot of pessimistic people be like, it's raps for the U.S. Yeah. It's raps, dude. It's raps. I don't know if we can reel this back in.
I don't know if it's raps.
It's raps in terms of like, dude, you know what? I was thinking this the other day, and this is so funny. I'm coming off so right wing, and I'm like genuinely not at all. And this is why what I'm about to say nowadays would be right wing, and this is crazy. If you have an American flag outside your house, it's considered right wing. Like, just think that's the dumbest. That is, I get so, especially being like the son of an immigrant, I guess you would say, yeah, an immigrant, and like my family's full of immigrants. Like, people take for granted all of the incredible things this country has to offer, and the fact that, like, if you have an American flag, it's like, hold on. All of the benefits that you enjoy are because of this flag and what people did for it. And politics aside, like, how have we gotten to a point where if you are proud of your country, which, yes, we're doing a lot of things wrong, but also we're doing a lot of things right, if you're proud of that country, you're right wing. That's insane. I mean, that's why a lot of people, I think the stat was a lot of people our age are becoming conservative. Normally it happens at a much older age when you've had kids and you realize what actually matters in life. Ironically, you go conservative. When you're young like us and you're just like, you know, fuck the world, we're students, we're trying to make a change, that appeals to the liberal crowd. But now you're seeing at an earlier age, college kids go to the right, and I think it's because of that. It's like Howard Crystalia has a great slogan about this. It was called like "Don't Push Me," and it's basically this idea of like he was never right wing, maybe not even middle. He was probably on the left, but he has this whole thing about pushing him to the right because the extreme is so extreme that you're like, if supporting my country is right wing, then like, okay, I guess I'm right wing. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, I'll be right wing if it means like I support my country, right? Or I support the idea that you can say, you should be able to say whatever you want. That's right wing. Like, where are we at? Like, how is this at all? It's just so mixed up, and I don't want to just keep like shitting on society, but
I mean, the flag, it's interesting because the flags are such just powerful symbols. I mean, I think of the first thing that immediately came to my mind when you were talking about it was Spain, right? There's a big section in Catalonia that they don't even identify with the Spanish flag. Right. And I think it's not getting to the point where we have a section of our country that wants their independence, right, like Barcelona and all those places in Catalonia. Mm-hmm. But I agree. I mean, you don't see the only place on campus that I know flies the flag is our student center, and they fly it all the time, 24/7, 365. Right. But you don't see it in buildings, kids don't have the stickers on their laptops. You'll never see it on a pin.
And if you do, it's like that guy.
You're like, oh, people automatically think, oh, he's a conservative. Oh, he likes Trump.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, I definitely consider myself, I mean, I don't subscribe to the left and right thing. I just take it on an issue by issue basis.
Same exact thing.
But I
Down the middle.
I 100% think it's wild that it's gotten to the point where you see a flag hanging in someone's yard and you automatically think they're conservative.
Were they there on the 6th?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and this once again, I don't want to shit on the school either, but they're definitely not doing this problem any favors. Like, oh, but also, okay, we got to talk about this. The conservative club last year bottled it for anybody who thinks that maybe hearing another opinion would be a good thing. Bro, they had a gay flag with a skull and bones through it. Yeah. It's like, dude, you just hopped right into your own grave and had someone piled up, and then you were like, dude, why am I trapped? It's like, you what, bro?
You dug your own shit.
Completely. That's just why, at least at this school, maybe I don't blame, because, like, what are you doing? Right? And they were going to have, like, an actual prominent conservative speaker that probably would have been good to have on campus. They canceled the whole event. They canceled the whole thing. And guess what? It's 100% their fault. 100% their fault.
Yeah.
So, it's just like, I think it's whatever. I don't want to shit on the school, like I said, but
I mean, there's a way to go about it, and there's a way not to go about it. The way to go about it is fostering discussion and talking and conversation. Right. It's not defacing whatever the LGBTQA plus flag with a skull and crossbones. I mean, is crazy. Yeah. And they can complain, but they were doing it, in my opinion, probably for clicks, for views, for the fame, whatever. I don't know how much of those people, like, if you ask them, if you take them individually, sit them in a room, and you ask them, would you actually, if you had the choice by yourself to do this to the flag with no consequences, but also no advantages, you don't get anything out of it, would you? I guarantee you 99% of them would say no. Because it's just ridiculous.
You think they wanted a reaction?
100%. Yeah. Everything is about getting a reaction.
But maybe it was maybe it was an overreaction because of how, not that this justifies it anyway, but because of how pissed off they are about the fact that, like, if you're conservative, especially on campus, like, bro, it's just raps. It's so raps here. You can't.
How many of them are there?
Bro, like, sometimes I'll say, once again, I am so down the middle. So down the middle, it's just case by case. But if I say something that maybe, like, I'm like the right wing guy, for saying something. Yeah. And I can imagine, like, if you're actually conservative, it's so rapt. Like, I think there obviously there's a conservative club, but it's just like, I mean, whatever. They dug their own grave. But I can't imagine. And I'd say most of the top 10, maybe top 50, top 100 schools are all so aggressively left that it's like...
I mean, the private schools, 100%. Public's a little different. A lot of my friends from high school are in public schools. And it's a little different.
Are they crazy?
No. It's a little different because their student bodies are so much bigger. Right. And, I mean, the college admissions process is ridiculous. Yeah. And it's stupid and it's a shit show. But it contributes to that problem. Mm-hmm. But I think there's definitely more balance at your bigger state schools. I'm from Indiana. There's definitely a bigger balance at IU than there is here.
Yeah, that's so true. I wonder what you think about this. And this is a saying that's been going around recently. And I agree with it. And it's, let me see if I can get this right. I'm just going to have to freestyle this and it's going to sound stupid. It's like the good times create weak people. Weak people create bad times. Bad times create tough people. And tough people create great times. Does that make sense?
So it's like a circle.
Are you following it?
Yeah.
So I agree. Like, I think we're in the weak people section of that cycle. Which, like, when you see, like, these videos of, like, veterans and stuff at, like, they go to, like, these marches or parades that are going on, and they're just sitting there like, dude, I had to risk my life and watch my friends die so that you guys could, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
March about, like, who knows, like, free range chickens. I don't know, but it's like, I think it's so true. I think it's so true. who's talking about it? I don't know who's talking about it, but it's like the people in between World War One and World War Two, whatever that generation was, is like the perfect example of this. After World War One, they were seen as like the weak ass motherfuckers because they kind of been born right after the war, so they're chilling. Like, we won, America as fuck. You know what I'm saying? We dubbed, took a fat W, and we got through it. And then they're just chilling. They're born into post World War One. Our economy's doing well. Then the Great Depression. Do I have my history?
Yep.
Then the Great Depression.
Yep. 1929.
Yeah, they get cooked.
Absolutely cooked.
Everyone got cooked to dust.
I mean, everything went to shit.
Right. And then they became the ones that had to become tough. And then after the Great Depression, we have World War II. Dude, they're getting mega fucked by the world, right? And then you look at the generation right after World War II.
Baby boomers.
That's the best it's ever been, I think, in terms of... never mind. Racism exists.
Yeah.
But I'd say in terms of this argument about like the weak people thing, that's where you got that good times. That's in the good times cycle. After the people had to become tough people. Because tough people, I think, like my cousin from Cuba always says this. He's like, and not that there's not any truth to like the whole transgender movement, but he's like, dude, in Cuba, sincerely, no one has time to think about which pronouns they're going to be using today. Because they have to be thinking about where's my next meal coming from. Not that that's a sustainable way to live either. But I think I don't know the stats, but I would take a guess that if you were to, the people who are having whatever gender movements I would have to guess it's only in first world countries.
Yeah.
Because they have it so well, they have enough time to think and be at their soul. And that's why I like the people who are pushing this, like, I don't know what I don't know self-help is the right word, but the idea that like, nah, you actually need to be pushing yourself and you need to start your morning with a cold whatever, because you need to teach yourself to work through that kind of stuff. Because when you have discipline, you work through that things, you don't have time to get bogged down in this other stuff. Whereas, I think we have it so good, and it proves to how well and how hard people worked in our past that we can have one of the main issues in our country be like related to like gender services. It's like, that's awesome that we have that, and there are plenty of people that probably do benefit from that. But at the same time, that's a privilege. There's an Indian comedian that said once, you guys don't understand here in America, it's a privilege to be able to get offended about something.
Yeah.
There's a privilege. You, like, in India, another great example, in extreme poverty levels. Oh, you're offended? Die. You have no... Okay, cool. That's not going anywhere, buddy. You're not changing any nothing. You just have to keep moving. Whereas here, not only does everyone have a voice because of this, but there's this whole like victim culture thing that happens now, which is another thing. Oh, dude, another thing that gets me going. And I know we got to end the podcast hopefully about something funny, but like the victim culture is the other thing that, once again, these self-help guys that I was talking about, I think they cut down on it. It's like, no, dude, everyone goes through shit. Everyone goes through shit. It's not just you. And if you notice, the people who are so worried and focused about their problems, ironically, they're not the ones getting shit done. People getting shit done are the ones that aren't complaining all the time and just like doing things. And I think it's rare for our generation. Hopefully this is changing, and I think it kind of is. But especially at this school, like I feel like what I'm saying right now would be like, people would be like, Trump, they just get freaked out.
Like the boogeyman.
Yeah, exactly. But
fucking Freddy Krueger and Chem 101 sitting right across.
Exactly, bro. It would freak him out. But I don't know what, I mean, I've been fucking talking too much, but I'm assuming you would agree.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that you also would agree that at this school, that doesn't really exist. And the victim culture is huge here. Yeah. Everyone's marginalized.
100%. I mean, and it goes back, like the U.S., we are fucked up on so many things, but we have it so good compared to other countries. Insane. So good. Insane. I mean, there are countries in Africa where HIV and AIDS is still the #1 cause of death.
Right. Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point where in the U.S., it's basic. You can pretty much, for the most part, get affordable medication that makes it undetectable. Like that.
That's incredible.
is
You
incredible.
can get AIDS and literally just live a full life, no problem. Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And we have it. It's one thing, like going to bed knowing that you'll be safe at night.
You can get AIDS.
For the most part.
Guys, listen up. Matt's saying
No,
raw dog.
don't even do that. No, please. Buy your Trojans, buy your Plan B, do whatever you need to prevent little baby juniors from running around, because we don't need any more of those at this point. But yeah, I mean, we have it so good right now.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know how good we have it so good that the biggest piece of news in the last 2 weeks is goddamn Taylor Swift's new album, and people going ape shit about Taylor Swift dropping a new album. Like, I gotta be honest, this is gonna offend a lot of people. I could give two shits about the next Taylor Swift album. And the fact that did you hear it? She wants to send a cease and desist letter to a UCF student who is tracking her private plane.
That's crazy.
Well, when Taylor Swift is taking 40-minute private plane rides from New Jersey to Baltimore that put up 3 tons of carbon emissions.
Murdered 75 polar bears.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, Queen, your bed and breakfast is going to get tracked.
Also, like let's just keep it real. How old is Taylor Swift?
Does it matter?
You're 35.
Probably.
You're 35.
Yeah.
The breakup songs are not. It's all good.
Yeah.
Like, it's so all good. And she's basically been like, oh, awesome. So girls from the age of, like, I don't know, 12 to 25 will always exist. And I'm just going to play to this crowd over and over again. But you're 35. You're 35.
You are.
Let's stop.
So.
Let's stop. This whole... Oh, dude. This whole thing with the football player, dude, and then now he's playing bad.
But they are.
Now he's playing bad.
We're recording this the night before the Super Bowl, right? Travis Kelce is in it.
Oh, she's gonna be
Taylor. Well, she was in Japan. She's gonna have to hop on that private
Shout out
jet
Logan Paul.
to come all the way to Vegas to come. Let me ask you this: do you know who's actually performing the halftime show?
No idea.
Exactly.
No idea. Who is?
Exactly. It's not Taylor Swift.
Who is it?
It's Usher.
Okay. Usher. You're 52.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Both of them are in the same boat. Chill out.
In any other year, I guarantee you I could go on the street and get 7 out of 10 people that could tell me who the damn halftime performer is. Right?
Yeah, no,
Last
that's
year,
so true.
I could
What's
go
your
out.
point? What's your point? I agree.
I think Taylor Swift has taken everything. From
And that's
the
a bad
NFL.
thing?
No, it's a fact of life.
Didn't she when she went in the picture, didn't the GDP of fucking oh no, that's a different thing. But didn't the net worth of the NFL?
So she brought over $330 million worth of clicks, merch to the Kansas
Just
City
because
Chiefs.
girls sit there, they're like, wait, what's the score? Oh my God, Taylor Swift.
She brought in a whole. They were talking about this on ESPN. Do you know how long she's actually featured in the games? 20 seconds, 18 seconds, 25 seconds. It's crazy.
Is that a lot or a little?
It's like half of a commercial.
Right.
It's how long she's shown throughout the whole game.
And people.
And that's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's how big she is.
Yeah, she sucks.
Anyway, I don't care. When you worship celebrities, come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can take a trip down conspiracy lane, but the whole Pfizer thing is also crazy, bro.
The Travis Kelce thing?
Yeah, that's crazy.
What do you mean?
Okay. I'm not that informed on this topic.
I thought we were ending on a high note, bro.
Dude, I know, bro.
No, drop it.
But they paid him like triple his salary,
So Kelce got paid to do an advertisement for Pfizer for the vaccine.
which controversial, to say the least, but the data is not necessarily uniform on how effective or useful
Yeah.
they were for COVID.
In
say that.
in my opinion, I have no problem with him doing that because you have gambling companies paying
That's true.
gross amount. Jamie Foxx, I don't know how much he's getting paid by MGM.
Yeah.
To do his stupid advertisements. I mean, last year, I always try to guess the commercials during the Super Bowl. Okay. Last year, the majority topic was fucking gambling.
Yeah.
Sports, I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
DraftKings, FanDuel. I mean,
But
it's no
the thing
better.
is, but Pfizer's different. It's injecting yourself with something. It's a little different.
People, I think, and I don't know the actual numbers, I think there are probably more people that suffer from gambling addiction than have died to the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. But I also think I kind of call through their bluff immediately.
Yeah.
The woke crowd's always been like, dude, I will stab myself 2 times an hour if you need it.
No, I'm done. I got 3.
Hilarious.
I got my 1 booster. I'm done.
Right.
I'm not getting any.
It's a genius play. Who's the ones that aren't taking the vaccines? Conservatives. Conservatives like football.
I mean, here's the thing.
Let's take the most fucking meathead motherfucker and have him tell his meathead fans, start stabbing, right? Start stabbing yourself. And then it's a genius play. But that's why I think it's bullshit, because they're just trying to make more money. They don't actually care about people being well.
With the handful of professional athletes that I know, they all have agents. A lot of them have very little say in what advertisements they actually do. So I can almost guarantee you that Travis Kelce's agent told him, you're going to get this amount of money.
Oh, dude. If I was Travis Kelce, do you know how much he got for the deal?
He doesn't care who's cutting his checks.
No, he doesn't. And I wouldn't either. That's why it's the same thing I said at the beginning of the podcast. I'm not one to, I would do the same thing, bro.
Yeah.
I'd hope, I would, dude. How do you know how much he got?
I don't. No, not off the top of my head.
I don't know if 300 million is probably too much.
That's way too much.
Yeah. That means
At least $1 million.
more than
that's life-changing money for people.
for an advertisement is also
Yes.
legit. That's it.
For maybe an hour of your work.
That's why they think the Taylor Swift thing is not real and it's all to sell more vaccines. That's the controversy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
2 superstars come together representing the 2 sides of the country, one of which already has the, I will put the vaccines into my orange juice in the morning and then drink that. Okay. Then you have the people who are like, orange juice is gay. And then you mix them together through this relationship. And then you get Pfizer with Travis Kelce doing the thing. And you're like, oh my God. Now the vaccine companies are going to make bank. They're going to make bags on top of more bags.
Well, I mean, I don't know how many people are still getting the vaccines.
But that's the point of this
I'm
whole
going to
thing.
stick up for Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift in this situation and say that there is some mutual attraction, and maybe Travis Kelce had a hard-on for Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right. We're going to end. You have something funny?
No.
You don't have anything funny? All right. I'll tell you.
I was going to take the Taylor Swift into something funny, but it did not go that way, which is fine.
Oh, wow. So we got hella serious.
We did get hella serious.
Dude.
But it's all good.
Well, she sucks. She's 35, right?
Yeah.
She's 52.
She's made all her money. But, whatever Dead Poet Society or whatever she called that album, it's coming out in
That's what
April.
she called it?
It's not called, it's something poet, troubled poet, something. I don't care. I already know too much.
Yeah, you're too invested.
I'm way too invested.
You're part of the problem.
Yeah, I need to excuse myself from the situation. So anyway, which way do you wipe?
What does that even mean, dude?
So there's 2 ways to wipe.
Chill out. Don't get too excited about it.
So if I'm facing this way, towards the back, or towards the front.
I would argue that there's a third way.
You going sideways? You rubbernecking?
Up and down, bro.
Okay. Your first pull, are you going towards your gonads or towards the back?
No, we're going.
You're going back?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
See, I go forwards, and I think that's rare.
So you're like flicking.
No. I'm rotating the hand, right? I'm getting some good wrist movement. Like the dexterity is good here. Dude. But I'm not
trying to be vulgar because like my parents might watch.
But I'm just like, it's not getting there. It doesn't even touch.
You're trying to make yourself come.
Well, that's crazy.
You're
No.
You're doing the dirty DJ, bro.
That's you going from the back.
No, it's not.
Really?
You're doing...
When they do a prostate exam, how do they go in?
Chill out.
From the back.
Chill. First of all, mad sexual the way you said that. You're coming in, right? I'm coming in.
Are you going elbow deep? What kind of shit is this?
It's like this, right? We're just going backwards this way, and we're getting it done like that. You're turning your hand and going in. Because what do you do? Hold on. Wait, another question. Are you this way?
What?
Are you... Wait, do you reach behind you or in front of you?
If you have to go from the back, you have to physically lean forward. That is so uncomfortable.
Bro. You're going in this way?
100%.
So we end the podcast?
Like permanently?
Yeah, we should end the podcast. What are you talking about? You're sitting there like this? Dude, bro, do you put your feet up like this?
No, bro, it's not porn. I'm not doing that, right?
Hey. You're in the minority. I promise you.
That's fine.
For good reason.
It is an easier way to do things. You have to lean forward.
You have to go through 2 Guardians of the fucking Galaxy before you get to...
Really, you have to go through your ass in the toilet seat. That is so uncomfortable to reach behind the back like that. Hell no. Hell no. I'm going from the front. Easy. It's easy.
I'm pissed off.
That's fine. At least I don't stand up.
I don't stand up either.
No, but there are people that stand. Anyway, that's a different people. It's a different minority. We can both
People in
agree.
this house, we can interview them.
That's crazy. We can both agree on that.
At least the guy sitting next to me when he was doing... I don't think he stood up until, of course, he forgot. Oh, wait. I drank a gallon of water today.
Maybe he did it as he was pooping.
You want to do the outro, bro?
No, you got it, bro. Since you just want to...
No, I'm pissed off.
Okay.
I'm actually pissed off.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever platforms you're listening on, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Always remember, do not wipe towards the back. Always go from the front.
Everyone who was on the fence about this podcast, not even near a fence anymore.
Turn on the notifications. You get the new episodes. So next time that you're wiping from the front, you can listen. How was that? Good?
Catch you guys.
Peace.
Okay.